right. And we will get started. I am joined by Barbara, who leads operations here at Poly. I'm Bilal. I'll be your host today, co-founder and CEO here at Poly. And today's an exciting one for us because we're going to be talking about some of the features that we've launched in the past, you know, 6 to 12 months, as well as um, an exciting new feature that we launched today. And we'll be taking a sneak peek at some of the stuff that we're going to be launching a little bit further down the road here and later on in the year. So let's just get started. So I think we'll just get started with a quick overview of where Poly is and where Poly's headed, just to orient everybody here on the call, and then we'll dive into some of the features specifically. So fundamentally, what we're about is helping you drive purposeful engagement for your digital HQ. And we started off our journey as primarily a channel-based application. So, launching a poll in a channel in Slack, Teams, or Google Chat. And, we still do that exceedingly well. But over the course of the past few years, we've expanded further than channels. So now we're in Google Meet, in Zoom, in Microsoft Teams, in the meeting side of Microsoft Teams, and also on the web with the launch of web links a couple of years ago. But in the past year, we've really been focused on presentation integrations. We launched Google Slides last summer, and I'm excited to share that PowerPoint is live as of this morning. And Barbara, if you could just drop some links into our chat here on where you can get the Google Slides and PowerPoint integrations. The Google Slides and PowerPoint integrations are part of any paid subscription at Poly here today. So regardless of what plan you're on, you're going to be able to access those subscriptions and whatever Poly types you have access to as part of your subscription. So you're already with those links, you're on your way to be able to use Poly in more places. And we'll walk through a little bit of how Poly works in each one of these settings and what's changed in each one of these settings, as well as what's coming in each one of these settings. So I'm going to start with taking folks through Slack, and I'll do a quick audience poll. I'm just like seeing the audience. I think we're mostly a Slack-based audience first here. So we will dive into Slack and what's changed there, and then kind of circle back over into the new poly types and how they integrate with our PowerPoint integration. And if we have some time at the end, we'll also dive into the meeting integrations and what they look like in 2025, as well as what's coming next. All right. So let's just start by jumping into Slack here. Okay, so I'm going to start with just my demo channel, and I will just launch a poly right here in this channel. And the very first thing that you'll notice is actually we have a brand new authoring experience that we just launched last month. Uh, this is pretty exciting because it now shows you all the different kinds of polys that you can create and what they're going to be good for. So let's just get started with a multiple choice question, which is the simplest question type, and you can easily switch between different types of questions right here in the interface. So this is something that you've come to know and love with Poly, is that you're going to have the best in class interface regardless of what app you use, whether it's Slack or Teams, and we're constantly refreshing these apps to make sure that they reflect the latest and greatest of what's out there with Poly. So I'm going to go ahead and launch a new question here. So what is the best time for our team meeting? And we'll say 9 a.m. PST, 10 a.m. PST. We'll give the audience the option to add choices, and we'll go ahead and jump in here. And the next thing that you're going to see here, and this is actually not live in your environments yet, but it will be relatively soon, is that almost all polytypes will now have presentation views in addition to public voting views. So if I want to go ahead and see where this response is coming in, and I actually encourage everybody here to scan that QR code. I will also drop the link for this in the chat so that you all can vote that way. And I'm going to start voting here as well. And you'll notice that as I vote here, it shows up in Slack and it also shows up live in that presentation views. So yes, not just Q&As, which some of you may have been familiar with, but almost all poly types will now have presentation views. And that's coming later this month. And so you'll have just like this beautiful view that you can go in and drop into a slide and be able to get really quick participation live within the course of a meeting. They will also always have a QR code associated with them. And then one of the features that we'll talk about coming later this year is meeting join code. So you can just drop in a join code and be able to participate that way as well. And you'll see that we have beautiful animations that just slide in as you're responding to this polytype. Um, it seems like the link isn't working, but let's go ahead and grab that again. I think Zoom truncated it is the problem. Is that working now? And the QR is working fine. Catherine was able to vote. Thank you, Catherine. Cool. So that's the quick update here in authoring, but a couple of things that the particularly eagle-eyed amongst you may have noticed is that there's actually new polytypes in authoring, and I wanted to dive into our latest and greatest addition to the poly ecosystem, our new word cloud polytype. So here I'm gonna say what is the best location for our next team offsite. And once again, I'm gonna want to have people vote in that public web voting view. I'm gonna pop this open, show you what that looks like, but you should also be able to participate here. And I'm gonna pop open that presentation view here as well. And in the meantime, I'm gonna respond right here in the Slack environment, and I will say Bali. Cool. And my response immediately shows up right here in Slack. Oh, we've got some folks who are shooting for Lisbon. And as more and more responses come in, these will automatically get updated in the presentation view itself. And everyone can participate via that QR code as well if you are having a hybrid environment where folks are joining from their phones or whatnot. And so again, a great way of ideating on similar concepts. Our open-ended polys can take full sentences. It doesn't have to be a single word, and then we'll automatically pick up the keywords that people are picking up on. So again, great for things like event planning, brainstorming around key ideas, or just getting a quick visualization of a lot of different kinds of feedback. So we have people use it for things like what topic you might want to pick for your next all hands. If you have like a particular hotspot around product strategy or benefits, that'll come up in your word cloud as well, and you'll get colors, you'll get this beautiful view, and that's also going to be reflected live across both Slack and the web application as well. So now I think this is a really great point. Okay, we have this presentation view, but it's kind of awkward to jump between the web and whatever PowerPoint deck that you might be putting together for your event. And so I'm excited to share that we now have PowerPoint live in the App Store, and I can just go in and jump into my slide. I've already added the poly slide here, but you can just quickly easily add it from my add-ins once you've got it launched from the App Store, and you can find it in more add-ins and quickly add it to your PowerPoint. If you are in a managed store environment, some of you I know are the Office 365 admins at your companies. You can have the opportunity to improve it. But you can see like any poly that I'm creating that has a presentation view, which again, by the end of this month is going to be most polys, I can just drop that right here into the PowerPoint deck. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And instantly I can see a preview of what that looks like. I can remove this from the slide and instead take this poly and I can see a preview of what that's going to look like. And when I jump into the presentation view, um, I believe now you'll be able to see it. You can actually manage that from right there within PowerPoint. So no switching back and forth. I can just seamlessly jump back to the fact that Poly works where you work and have it right there in line within my slides. And so this is live today in PowerPoint. For another type of Poly in later on in the webinar here today, I'll also show you Google Slides. If you have used the Google Slides integration in the past, we actually just launched an update this week that speeds it up massively. So I'm excited to show that to you as well. I'll also note at this juncture, before I set up the next Poly type demo here, that um, you can ask questions at any time, and Barbara here is gonna field them either in the chat directly, or I can also stop the presentation and take them live, whatever works best. So next up, let's jump into the Poly web application. And here you'll notice that we now have more template types. So something that we launched in the past month is an addition to the types of templates that we have. So there are more templates across multiple categories: internal comms, events and team building, people ops. So definitely dive into those and just get more ideas on how you can apply Poly in your workspace. But now I wanted to jump into Q&A and just talk about some of the updates that we've made to Q&A based on the feedback of, actually, I see some names here in the room that have been super instrumental in providing us feedback on Q&A and how we can make it better. Um, so I'm going to go ahead and create one here. But I will note, if you come back to the Poly authoring experience in Slack, you can actually now author Q&As directly in Slack if you want to have like a really quick experience. So this is a new addition as well. I do prefer going into the web application for more detailed use cases, and some of the advanced features that I'm going to show you are only available in the web application. So it's this balance that we always strike between making it quick and easy in Slack versus having the depth available at your fingertips in our web application. Cool. So I'm going to go ahead and say, what questions do you have for leadership? And let's say, and one relatively new option that we've added is the ability to just have a link only Q&A. So this is something that we had heard feedback on, where some folks are just like, hey, I don't want to send this into a channel. It ends up being too noisy for me in whatever circumstance. Or we're migrating off of a tool that works with a link and we want to maintain that experience for our existing customers. For our existing users, you can actually go ahead and just share the link directly in Slack or Teams or wherever you want. Like this works as a web link works anywhere else. Um, and this feature, so being able to share just a link to a poly, is a feature that's going to come to other poly types as well, not just Q&A. So you'll actually be able to use Poly as an independent application that just is not strongly tied to your Slack or Teams. For the purposes of the demo, I will choose a channel though, and we'll use the all hands questions channel. I'll go into advanced settings and I'll say this is coming from my events team. All right. And in Q&A, you can always add collaborators. I have moderators and text replies. And then something new that we've added just in the last quarter is the ability to receive Slack notifications for audience submissions. This is a huge win over web-based solutions where you might have to like go back and refresh and double check that like, hey, did I actually get to all the submissions that were coming into a Q&A? Instead, we've made it super easy and push-based where you can actually receive a notification anytime a question is submitted that is ready for your moderation and perusal. Notifications is actually another area that we're going to be improving on in other poly types as well. So you can actually go ahead and receive notifications for other poly types coming later this year as well. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and create a public link. And once again, we'll have a QR code, and I'm going to hit send now. I do see some questions. Looks like people are trying to access the PowerPoint add-in. We'll get instructions to you, and then yes, this is fully recorded and will be made available after the fact as well. All right, let's go into the all hands questions where I sent the Q&A, and you can see that that text that I put in is available right there in the box. And what would our product roadmap changes be like with the new updates to ChatGPT? So AI is playing into product roadmaps everywhere. I'm going to go ahead and submit that one. And I'm going to just choose anonymous for all of these, but you don't have to. We always give you the option to opt into that or opt out of it. What will our benefits be like in the upcoming year? And one thing I did realize is that I never shared the link with the team. So I would love to see everybody here submit some questions. Here's the link. Drop that in there. And this is actually going to be a persistent thing in all poly types now. On the left nav here, you'll have the list of links that pertain to that poly. So whether it's an audience link or a presentation view link, you can always get to the right place from the left nav in our web application. And now I'm going to go ahead and make this question public. This is something that I think our entire audience would benefit from. I can go ahead and upvote this if I choose to. And when I pop that open in our presentation view, those upvotes will all get synchronized live. So this is one of the beauties of Poly is that everything that happens gets synchronized across the entire ecosystem, whether it's in Slack, whether it's in the web application, whether it's in a presentation view in PowerPoint or Google Slides. Cool. And that's actually a good cue to jump into Google Slides. And let's go ahead and add that Q&A Poly to the slide. Boom, as easy as that. Same thing, you get a list view of all of your polys that are eligible for presentation views, which again is almost all types of polys as of later this month. And this just gets dropped in lickety split. And as long as you keep that placeholder image in there when you go into slideshow mode, I can get that same presentation view live in my Google Slide as well. So whatever your choice of presentation software, whatever your choice of chat software, whatever your choice of meeting software, Poly's got you covered across the board. And we're going to be adding more ways for you to like start in Slack and then move into presentations, move into meetings so that you can get a holistic view of how to use Poly with your team. Cool. I'm going to go back into the Q&A. And now the other thing that I'll note I wanted to share is that right here in Slack, you'll notice that I now have a thread with a live view of all the questions. So I get to see the status of the question, and I can go ahead and approve and make things public from here as well, in addition to sending public or private replies. So once again, we're constantly working on ways that you can use Poly in a limited way in Slack and not have to go to the web if you don't need to. Again, we do prefer power users to use the web. You get a lot more functionality. We get a lot more space to give you the best experience. But at the same time, we recognize sometimes you're just on your phone running to grab coffee and you just need to respond to something super quick. And you can do that with Poly, regardless of whether you're using the Slack mobile apps, the Slack web apps, the Microsoft Teams apps on mobile or web as well. Cool. We've got a couple of questions here. I'm going to go ahead and mark this one as answered because I talked about it. Let's just say that is going to be instantly reflected back in Slack. It's going to be instantly reflected back in the channel for my audience members. And I can actually, at the end of this, go and check out some reports and be able to export these out and share them with the management that I'm asking these questions of. And it gives you a great way to just make sure that you're really engaging your audience and that you're being intentional with the kinds of questions that you're getting and the types of topics that you're putting on the agendas of these really big, important meetings. Cool. So that is the Q&A polytype. Next up, I'm going to dive into our meeting integrations. This is actually a really great engagement point. If you could in the Zoom chat, just put what is the most commonly used meeting software at your company? And I'll try and show at least one or two of our meeting integrations so that you can get a sense of what's possible in those. So we've got a lot of Zoom, all Zoom so far. We've got a Teams. So the one problem is demoing Zoom within Zoom is actually a little bit difficult. So I'm actually gonna take Teams and bias the discussion here a little bit, and I will join a Teams meeting and show you. But the Zoom integration and Meet integrations work very similarly. So we'll show you how they look in Teams and then dive into Zoom at a later point. We do have videos on our website that you can look at to get a sense of how our Zoom integration works as well. Um, Give me just a quick second to launch this thing. All right. And now I am launching on Teams and we're jumping in and we've got a webinar user here and simply just need to add the app into the meeting and hit save. And in Teams or Google Meet, you'll have the same kind of experience. You'll just have Polly show up on the on the right hand side here in an iframe, and you can add different kinds of polys into the meeting. Now, the specific one that I wanted to bring up was icebreakers. And the reason that I want to bring this up is that in our roadmap preview, icebreakers are actually coming soon to our Slack product as well. So in that authoring menu, sometime later this year, you'll actually see icebreakers as a topic there. You'll be able to shuffle through pre-built ones, or you could actually AI generate them if your organization has AI enabled features enabled. For those of you that are on enterprise plans, AI features are disabled by default. Sorry, admins, I don't make the rules. That's generally what we heard. You can turn those on. Talk to your CSM if you haven't already, if you want to get those features enabled for your account. For right now, I'm just going to go with the non-AI icebreakers. So let's see here. Um, so I'm going to go ahead and save this one out. Now, in all of our meeting integrations, we have the ability to save questions ahead of time, so you can launch them at key points during the meeting. So I'm going to go ahead and create another, let's say, a question that I've already got in my templates. And I'm going to go ahead and use a personal template for my compliance training quiz. And this is another feature. We've actually soft launched this on Teams ahead of time, but it's coming soon to Slack as well. In fact, today quiz is one of the options in the Slack authoring, and you can sign up for the waitlist just because we know there's such popular demand for it. Um, I'm going to go ahead and save this one as well. And then I'll quick create another type of question, which is a hot take. So, um, oh man. So those of you who know me personally know that I have several kids under the age of 10, and hamsters as a pet comes up as a topic very frequently. So this is a near and dear topic to my heart. So I'm going to start with the hamsters as a pet question. Just a great way to warm up the meeting while you're waiting for people to join, filter in. And our meeting integrations are also, like our Slack and Teams integrations, available as part of all of our paid plans. And so you sign up for a paid plan, you'll be able to access that meeting. Again, some of this is limited to what your admins approve because they do require specific permissions within your organization. Um, I will agree with this. I think hamsters are super cute, but super dirty and really difficult to keep track of. And then I can also close this out once I'm done with it. And similar to other meeting integrations, you'll actually see that it lives live in the chat within that meeting as well. All right, I'm going to switch back into Poly and now send out my compliance training quiz. And this will give you a preview of what quizzes will look like in Slack as well when we launch them later this year. So anti-theft training. Um, and I'm just going to be totally naive and say that I will participate in fraud in this case. But mostly, I just want to show you what it looks like. We do have leaderboards available for quizzes. You can see question by question views and user by user views, just to get a sense of like how your audience is doing. And for those of you that are involved in learning and development or trainings or onboardings in your companies, this can be a really powerful way of augmenting whatever's in your LMS or having standalone training programs where you can just dive into people's knowledge and get a sense of what they're doing, what they're understanding. As part of that, we will also be offering the ability to customize trivia. Today, I know we only have pre-built trivia categories coming out of coming to you in Slack or Teams. Customizing trivia is also on our roadmap for later in 2025. And then finally, I'm going to go ahead and send out this icebreaker. So icebreakers are open-ended questions, which you may be familiar with, but they have a nice twist on them, which is I don't know if hosting a webinar counts as famous. I'm saying no, but we also then have the ability to do React on your open-ended responses. And it just, again, gets you a really quick and easy way to engage with your team asynchronously or synchronously within the meeting integration or within one of our channel-based integrations as well. And then, as I mentioned, anything that you create will also then show up in your presentation integrations, PowerPoint slides, or whatever to pick and present directly within the ecosystem. Cool. Any questions on meeting integrations? Again, I can't demo Zoom, but I can now dive into Meet if that's of interest in the group here. Anybody? I didn't see anybody using Meet, so maybe we'll skip that section. Cool. All right. Next up, I wanted to talk about what is coming next. So, we talked about the PowerPoint integration being live today. Once again, that link is in your chat, and you'll probably also be getting an email once we officially launch this. For those of you that have a CSM, your CSM will be talking to you about this as well. We are super excited about this. If there's any security questions or permission questions that you as an admin may have, feel free again to talk to your CSM when that happens. But it is live as of today, and ready to go. But one of the biggest things that we hear about as we dive into the presentation integrations is that, hey, all of our presentation views still have this blue background behind them. Not to worry, very soon in our roadmap coming up is custom branding and theming. So you'll be able to apply your company's colors to the background. You'll be able to apply your company logo. You'll be able to minimize what poly impact of branding there is on the slide so that you can use it not just internally with your team, but we also know that a lot of sales and marketing teams are using this type of software with their customers. And it's really, really important to have that customized branded experience. Cool. So that's what I wanted to talk about in terms of what's coming up on our roadmap. Um, we're really excited about the event experiences that this unlocks with Poly. You can use it in any kind of event, all hands, trainings, team building, and you will be joining some amazing company. We have people represented from awesome companies here on the call, and then across our customer base, we have amazing, innovative companies as well. And we are very excited to have all of you be able to use all the great stuff that we're building. The team is shipping at a super fast pace, but we're also always open to feedback. So if there's things that you asked for that you didn't see or I didn't talk about in the course of the meeting here today, again, feel free to ping me directly, Bilal@poly.ai, ask in the chat, ask your CSM. We're always here for you to help understand what we should build next. But that's what I had in terms of the PowerPoint integration and what we're doing in meetings. And I'll open it up to any questions if there are any. All right. The easiest features are always the ones that everyone just understands right out the gate. So hopefully that's the case here. We look forward to having you download and adopt all of these things. Our Teams App Store review, or sorry, our PowerPoint App Store review is going to be a little sparse. So if you can, it would be much appreciated to drop in a review for us there. Download it, play with it, get us any feedback, and then please do review that app. It always helps get the word out about all the new stuff that we're doing. And once again, always happy to hear from you. Drop me a note in Slack or Teams or on email. And looking forward to a great 2025 alongside all of you.